and welcome to the Crescent podcast. Today we're talking about networking and we're joined by the lovely Linda Cloke from Synergy Networking. How are you today, Linda?
Hello, I'm really well, thank you.
Good. So why don't you tell us a bit about you and your background?
Okay, so I started working life actually in the KCC, well actually as a waitress. And then from there I moved to a car rental company. I ended up going up and managing a forecourt with vans and cars to rent out, and then sort of did all that. Then I was a dance instructor in Kensington. Then I came back down to Kent, and I worked in TVS, TV company, as assistant accountant. And then I got married, and my husband left BT, became self-employed. So that's when my self-employment journey started. I remember going to the bank when I was 21 because I wanted to open an underwear shop, and they said to me, you need to do a cash flow forecast. And I was like, what's that? And they gave me this great big form, and I just looked at it and thought, I have no clue what to do with that. So my journey didn't start when I was 21, it started when I was 26 with my husband. So we ran a few companies actually. We went into manufacturing concrete fence posts. We did a fencing company. Then we moved on to telecoms. So we had a massive company with 250 men. We had our own restaurant. We did quite a lot of other stuff. I actually launched my own business selling aerobic wear while I was with him as well. So I let him get on with his telecoms business. And I was selling aerobic wear, which was really great fun. We did the markets, and I had 3 shops actually. And then when I had my son, sold that, and then started working for him. Then we got divorced, and that's when my own journey started. So when Elle was 3, I got divorced when she was 11 months. But when she was 3, I started running the dating agency.
Okay.
And that was really when my networking journey started. So I started with the Chamber of Commerce, and that was because it fitted in with childcare. And then it was amazing. And then once Elle hit 14, I joined BNI. And that was a whole new experience, obviously. And I loved being a member with them. I was DC with them, and I was president, vice president, and communications, and visitor host, and all those different roles. I did every role. Funnily enough, apart from the treasurer, which I don't know why I never did that role, because I trained as an accountant. So, but bizarrely, I never did it. So I really enjoyed my time with them. And I also was in BBN for about 4 years, and I was one of Brian's glamorous assistants for probably about 2 of those years. I really enjoyed networking with them as well, more laid back. Obviously, they had sort of fairly open categories as well.
So you've worked with quite a variety of networking groups. So you've probably seen what works and what doesn't work.
But I think it's more what people like and what people don't like. So, for example, what you find is that people join Bob because they don't like going to BNI every week. So they like the structure, but they would rather go once a fortnight than once a week. They don't want to commit to the once a week, so they go to once a fortnight. That's one of the things, again, they like about Brian's. It's once a fortnight. Obviously, they love the fact it's more laid back. So people really enjoy the fact it's more laid back. A lot of them the same structure, stand up, do a 60 seconds or 30 seconds in some BNI cases. I was speaking to my nephew, Tony Pictures. He's picturesque landscaping, and he joined Gravesend BNI some time ago. And he absolutely loves it, and it's been really, really effective.
Okay, so you recently set up Synergy Networking, didn't you? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so I set up that with Chris and Laura Endersby of Grammar Printers. They have been avid supporters of mine, really helped me with my events that I ran for the dating agency. A married couple used to come along and check people in, and Chris took all the money for me. I just used to give him the money, stuck it in his pocket. So it was, really good. So they come along to the events, help me with the events. They're just powerhouse between them, really great, and helped me. But the reason we decided to set it up was because we did feel there was something missing. So what Synergy offers is it offers a laid-back networking, but one where you don't have to do a pitch. So it is completely different to any other networking. I know with open networking, like the Chamber of Commerce, you go in and you mingle. Same with FSB, go in, mingle, a lot of open networking. Even me, a 20-year networker, I struggle walking up to people who are having a conversation. I've got better at the chamber. I'm still uncomfortable, but I went to an all-women's networking group, which was a fantastic event. But when it came to the bit where I was meant to walk up and talk to people, I couldn't. I left. I just left. So I didn't want to have an event like that. I didn't want one where, if I can feel uncomfortable, I know lots of new businesses must feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do an event where we're there like we were with the dating. We're there at the door to meet them and greet them as they come in. We introduce them to someone immediately, so they're immediately talking to someone, hopefully someone that they can do business with. So if it's a trade, I try and introduce them to a trade, if they're accountancy or solicitor, because what you find with those is it's staff that are coming in. It's not the owner of the business. You generally find with the bigger businesses, it's the staff, and they're nervous. They've never done it. It's like, right, I've got to give this a go because I need to sort of, get more business in. And it's just completely an easy, relaxed from the start. And then what we do is you come in, and the other thing that I found, again with chambers, because, they're great if you're good at it. If you're good at it, they're great. You can get to see loads of people, lots of big businesses in there. But you get stuck because you want to be. Not because you're stuck because you don't want to be. You want to be, you just want to stay in your sort of comfy, oh, I know you and I love you and I don't want to move circle. That's why. So I thought I wanted to do something where they move, I make them move, which is what I used to do with the dating events. So what they do is they move after 20 minutes on a table. Each person will get 3 minutes to choose a question or do a pitch. It's up to them. If they want to do their pitch, they can.
Okay.
But there's 3 questions on the table. So those questions might be, because it's January, lots of people are talking about goal setting. So you might talk about goals. Questions are about goals, about mistakes maybe you made in 2024. How do you see yourself getting over those mistakes? But they don't have to do that. They can do a pitch if they want to, if they're more comfortable. The whole idea is being more comfortable. And it's about me communicating that. I didn't at one event, and someone did feel uncomfortable, and I felt devastated. I'm learning all the time, which I think is one of the great things about life, isn't it? And what I will do now is at the beginning of every event, I'll make it very clear that if someone doesn't want to answer a question and they want to do a pitch, they can do a pitch. But the 3 questions are icebreakers to help people. And what we found was one of the guys, Mark Humphreys from MHC Mortgages, he became a member in Whitstable. And he said it was really great because it enabled him, it sort of inspired him to tell a story that he's never told before. And everyone on the table was like, wow, and that's what the questions do. They give you the opportunity to talk about your business from a different perspective.
Yeah.
To help people understand the services you provide. Also, they give you the opportunity that if you have got a problem in your business, there's people there that can help you and would happily help you. Let's face it, networkers love helping, we all do.
Yeah.
So therefore, it gives people the opportunity to say, I'll help you with that. Or I tell you what, this person can help you with that.
Yeah.
So it's lots of opportunities, lots of inspiration, and that's what the questions are meant to do. So they have 3 minutes to answer that question, to do their pitch, whatever they want to do, and then that everyone's listening because there's 6 people on the table. I don't know if you saw the video from Monday's event. Quite quiet. And the reason it was because there was only one person speaking on each table.
Yeah.
And one of the things, again, a lot of people complain about is the noise in a networking event.
Yeah,
and
agree.
Obviously people's focus and concentration. But if you've got 6 people on the table, you're unlikely, hopefully, I've seen it at another person's event, you're unlikely to get out your phone and start looking at your phone.
Yes.
I was really shocked when I saw that at another event. It wasn't my event. It was an event where people sit at a table. And I had to go and put my hand on this guy's shoulder because I was just absolutely taken aback that he could do that on a table of 10. But at 6, they're answering a question, and because it's so different, it's same old pitch sort of thing. I think people are more likely to listen. So therefore you don't get someone, they are focused for that whole hour. They're focused on what those people are saying. And because we move, they get to meet lots of different people. They don't meet everyone in the room, but they get to meet a lot more people than they would do if they were at any other networking event, to be honest.
Yeah. That sounds really good. I really like that setup. I have been to one similar sort of thing, but I like the fact that you give them a choice of questions and the option for a pitch. I think that's such a good idea because with a pitch, you can kind of have that rehearsed in your head and it's ready and you know what to say. And for some people, that might make them a bit more comfortable, which, as you say, is what it's all about.
Yeah, and it was a feedback from someone that made me think that that's what I've got to do because, you know, when he sat down and he didn't realise he could do a pitch, he sat down and it was a question and it completely threw him. And that's the last thing you want for somebody who's new to networking. You don't want them to be thrown at any stage. So, you know, I think it's important because he was ready to do a pitch.
I once went to a networking event. This was many years ago when I had my event business, and I wasn't told at any point that I would have to stand up and do a pitch to a room full of 100 people. And I completely panicked, and it was horrible, and it put me off networking for a long time. It really, really threw me, and I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You don't want to be in that situation. I would say that, you know, synergy networking solves quite a lot of problems for people and makes it so much easier for new people to come in. I mean, a lot of women prefer to just network with women.
Yes.
But I think that it makes it softer for women to come and network with men as well.
Yeah.
And we had a lady come and she provides protein food. I met her at Ladies Who Latte. And I always said I'd never go to a ladies only event because I sort of feel I've got those mixed feelings that if there was a men's only event, you know that lots of women would kick off. And so for me, it was like, well, why are we doing women's events when, you know, none of the men kick off? And they're like, oh, okay, go on, get on with it sort of thing. But if there was a men's only event, the women would kick off, I think. So that's why I've never supported them in the past. But I've got to say, you know, you could see the business being done in the room in Ladies Who Latte. They were building relationships. They still did the pitch, but they were doing all the things that you see in BNI or any other networking event. You know, and it was really refreshing for me to see that business being done and those relationships, strong relationships, being built and had already been formed. And it was, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to support these girls. You know, it was good. I enjoyed it. So again, it's me learning along the way. Because for 20 years, I've said no.
I think that's such an important thing, and I clocked it when you said it earlier, but you're always learning. And I think it's one of those things, if you ever think you've stopped learning, I just don't think that's actually a thing. I don't think you can ever stop learning.
No, absolutely. And the thing is that is what makes life fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about learning in work, is it? It's about learning. I mean, this is a whole new thing for me. I mean, I've actually had someone say, Jan Alexander, she's she's not coming on the radio show. I've got to do it virtually and I don't know what to do. So I've got to ask Paul next week to show me what to do a virtual interview. So that's going to be another learning curve. And although I ran a social media business for a long time, I mean, my grandson put me on TikTok. You know, he introduced me to CapCut. I mean, what the hell is that? You know, but it's been amazing, and I'm sort of learning. I mean, I did one on CapCut yesterday. It was a nightmare. And Elle and Dan watched obviously my videos and that. And Dan said, "Your mum's done a video. And we can't hear anything she's saying because the music is too loud."
No. It's trial and error, I think, with some of those things, isn't it?
And one of them, I did a rapping song, and somebody put a rapping comment underneath it, and I've got no clue what he meant.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go and find you on TikTok. I dabble a bit with TikTok, but I think it's a whole thing in itself that I think it's a bit of a rabbit hole I'll fall down and never get out of.
And it's funny when your grandson's helping you in business, your 11-year-old grandson.
Really?
Yeah, he helped me set it up because Elle told me not to go on it. She was like, "You've got enough to do, don't go on it."
Well, yeah, no, I can completely see that, yeah, because as I said, I think it's a rabbit hole. You kind of just fall down and then 4 hours have passed. I mean, I've shared videos, but it's mainly just a bit for me experimenting, seeing what works and things like that. I don't really know if my target audience would be on TikTok.
You never know where they are. I'm just blasting it out there, and
Yeah,
it's working.
well, why not? That's really good. Do you think that networking has changed over the years?
Yes, yeah.
Like, since you've been involved?
Yeah.
And in what?
Massively. I mean, when I first started in business, everyone went everywhere in suits. Now, I remember a guy turning up to a networking event in jeans, and I was shocked. I was like, whoa, like, what are you doing? What are you doing for your business? I wasn't, he didn't look scruffy. He was just wearing jeans. But now, I mean, I did a blog when I was working for when I owned We Do Social Media. And it said, am I a dinosaur? And that's one of the things, I mean, when me and Elle go networking, she'd be like pretty casual and very relaxed. And I still wear my suit. I've got my suit jacket now because I'm going out and doing an event this evening. So, I'm just a bit old school, and I suppose I'll never change. So dress has changed drastically over the years. That's one thing. And also, I think these relaxed networking, and let's face it, there's meet-up networking. I mean, people who are, I suppose, I don't know, maybe don't want to go to the formal networking, so they run meet-up networking. The other thing that we are doing is we're doing what we're calling synergy supersets. So, and what you find with a lot of meetups is they do like tech meetups. So we're going to be doing tech supersets.
Okay.
From a more sort of structured, businessy. I've never been to a meetup networking, so I don't know what they're like. I've always been to the ones that have been, professionally organised. I'm not saying the meetup aren't professionally organised because I don't know. And obviously the women's groups have started. Ladies Ulata, I mean, they've been going 15 years. It used to be Women in Business. That was part of the chamber.
Okay, yeah. I hadn't realised they were connected.
Well, I don't think they are now, but they were
right.
Many years back. It was, they were connected to it. So there's lots of things that have changed. I would say the more fun events are coming in. I mean, I see Liv, a lady that I met through when I was working, she started a networking group called Social Networking. I mean, you never would have seen that years ago.
Yeah.
People are starting to understand that networking is about building relationships. It's not about walking in the room and getting a job straight away.
Yes, I think that's quite a misconception. Because I know that's something I used to think, and I'm very much an introvert. I don't like going up and talking to a stranger. I really, really struggle with that. And I thought that everyone's just going to be hard selling, and I don't like a hard sell. I can't deliver a hard sell, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. So, yeah, I think it is now becoming more social in itself. That it's talking to people, it's getting to know people, and then it's a question of it's who you know, and you can connect to other people that you know. They might be able to help each other, and then they'll remember you for something else if they need you in the future. And it's building those relationships as opposed to just hard selling someone that probably isn't actually interested.
And what you do, I mean, I had someone say to me the other day, he said to me, I can't see the point of going on social media. Why should I shout about my work on social media? And I was so shocked. It wasn't actually speaking face to face, because I would have actually said to him, well, hang on a minute. Because social media is so valuable. It's so valuable. Because what you're doing is you're doing it's allowing us to do what big companies have always done. It's about brand awareness. It's about getting your brand in front of people in as many ways as you can, which is why I'm on TikTok. Because it's the Synergy logo, bang, 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 bang. I wouldn't have been able to do that when I first started 20 years ago, when the KM built me a one-page website for my dating agency.
Gosh,
and I was really proud because I had a picture of Maidstone Mayor on there. Things like that, it was things like that that gave you credibility. If you had a photograph with the mayor, that was like, you shot up in the ranks sort of thing. Things like that aren't the same now. It's about, that's all, social media has changed networking in a big way, in a positive way.
Yeah. So what tips do you have for people like me who really struggle?
It's funny actually, because I was asked this question on my radio show last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you've got to try events. and go with the ones that you feel most comfortable with. And we said last night about Heather Williams' event, and also about Pink Panda. Hayden Bloomfield is doing an event. It's not a networking event, but it's going to places where you know you're going to recognise faces. And, you know, I said about going to the chamber and I don't want to leave my little crowd, you know, which is great. But that's the thing to do. Go to places where you have got a little crowd. And then try to go to other places where you think maybe one of those people you know is going to be going.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I mean, you know, we're very good, I would say, with new people at Synergy. But there's other networking groups that are as well. You know, BNI have visitor hosts. And if you've got a good visitor host, it's a really good experience because you get greeted as soon as you walk into the door. You know, you have a step-by-step process. And if everything's done properly, you're told that you're going to have to stand and do a 60 seconds. It's like with anything in life. If somebody isn't following a procedure, then it can be scary. If the people at the other end are following a procedure. So I would say the tip from me is go to events where there's panel talking maybe. And then, I mean, that's what I went to, and I spoke to the women either side of me and someone I knew, and then I left. I didn't make the most of that event, but I really enjoyed the event because I really enjoyed what those ladies had to say. And it was fantastic hearing the different journeys. You know, I know my journey and the things I've gone through to get where I am. And when you hear other people and some of theirs, you think, hey, you know, we've all got our own stories.
Yeah. I was at a networking event on Monday night at the Rookie CEO, Heather Williams one. And it's really, that's quite a good one, I think, for newbies into business as well, because it's very informal. There's 2 talks, and I was actually on a marketing panel, and there were 4 of us sat there answering questions, which I still can't quite believe I actually did, because even now going into a networking event, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I get really anxious, and I was slightly terrified when I was sat there at the front of the room with everyone, but it was really good and got really good feedback, and I felt so much better for doing it. But I know that a year ago when I started Crescent and I was going networking, I never would have imagined I'd do that. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast either, so it goes to show how things can change, I guess.
When I first started so when I had my shops, I was doing that. Obviously, I had my husband's support. It's different when you've got a partner in the background. If you've got a partner in the background, it's definitely easier. I don't know. Well, it should be easier.
Yeah.
But I had to see, because obviously, you know, you're going through all the emotions and everything of what you've gone through. So I saw a business coach, and it was a personal business coach. One of the things he said to me, he said, Linda, he said, you can choose to climb the same rock every day, or you can choose to climb a rock that gets higher. And every time you climb that rock that's higher, you move on in life. And that's something that stuck with me, because, you know, I'm constantly stepping out of my comfort zone. Not always, you know, sometimes I like run. I'm definitely a runner. But, you know, I do step out of my comfort zone. A lot of TikTok is a typical example of me stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to do it, because if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. And you're just going to come across the same problems again and again. So you doing that, what you did, and you know, you're right, that's the whole reason why Heather started the Rookie Club, was for newbies. And yeah, we support newbies, absolutely. But I know she's had a lot of, you know, seasoned networkers go to her event as well. But they're there to help people, because what we said at the beginning is people want to help people. We want to help people. I'd love to go to the Rookie Club to help people or do a talk or whatever. You know, because I love helping people, and I that's just who I am. But unfortunately, my events always clash with Heather's, so I can't.
They do, yes. I did realise that, because I was wanting to come to one of yours, and I was like, oh, I'm actually speaking at that one, so I can't do that. But that's another thing that I love about you and Synergy, is that you're so supportive and inclusive of other groups. Like, you're part of the chamber, you'd go to Rookie, and I think that's so important, because you can go to different types of networking events, and I think it's important to find out what suits you as well. But then it's good to keep doing that, because you'll meet different people and, as you say, continue to grow in different ways. And so finally, if knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self about networking and business?
Networking in business, I think I would say that I'm too caring of others. I need to be a bit more selfish. In fact, in life in general, I need to be. Networking, I think I got it right really from the start because I had the right training, if you like, because I went to Chamber of Commerce's first and then I went to BNI, and they do fantastic training. So it's good to just not throw yourself into networking, not know. I think it's good to have some form of training, whether you get online training. I know that we're Synergy, we're going to be offering that sort of thing. And I think it's worth doing that because, you know, you don't know. We don't know what you don't know, do you?
Oh, yeah, quite.
So, and I think that it's good to actually know what you're doing when you're going into a room full of strangers. It can be quite daunting. So, yeah, I would say I don't really think I've got loads of advice in regards to that. In regards to business, I mean, I did my first cash flow forecast when I was 21. So I didn't go ahead with it because I found it a bit frightening, and I didn't really know how to do it. But then I worked with my husband, and I've been self-employed for so many years that I've learned lots of lessons along the way. And it's strange, isn't it? But I don't know that I'd do anything different, Lucy.
That's really nice in some ways. Like, it's nice that you've got that mindset about it. I know it's easy to be like, oh, I wish I'd done that differently, or I'd done that.
I think everything that's happened has led me to where I am now. I mean, I started a networking business. When I first started my dating agency, I started a networking business. It was called Business Express Networking. And it was successful, but I was thinking I can't run a business networking business and run a dating agency. I can't do both, and I had to choose one or the other. So I chose the dating agency. And I mean, I suppose if I was going to look back, I'd think, well, I wish I'd done the networking then, but I've made so many people happy through the dating agency. I met a lady through networking. She told her daughter that she wouldn't have been born unless it was for me. So, you know, I've made lots of people really happy, and I wouldn't have achieved that if I carried on networking. I would have put businesses together, but I wouldn't have had lots of babies born. Well, I might have done, but
you never know.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you, Lucy.
Hopefully, I'm sure we'll get you on again in the future.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.